Hey teachers, good morning. I hope you guys are having a great morning. I don't know about you, but I am so excited about today and I cannot wait to share with you all my tips and tricks for my behavior management. So welcome. My name is Kara Rickman and I'm the founder of Create Your Balance with Literacy. And I have been teaching for 26 years and I love teaching first grade. That's my passion. But my other passion is teaching teachers and helping teachers streamline their classroom into a well-oiled machine. And that is why we are here, because we are going to talk about literacy centers, right? Okay. So if you're hopping on, welcome. We have some new people in our group. So I'm so excited that you're here with us today. And so you can tell us where you're from and tell us what grade you are teaching this year. That would be amazing, so we can get to know each other and connect with each other. So today is the first day of our Literacy Center reboot, and it's going to be 5 days long. And today we're going to be talking all about behavior management. So let me go over the agenda for today, okay? So we're going to talk about my behavior management that is administration proven, and accepted and approved and student proven, and things that have worked for me for 26 years. Okay. So I know what works and what doesn't work. And I hope that you can come away. My goal is to have you come away with at least one thing today that you might be able to try in your classroom in January. Okay. So that is my goal. And then we're going to talk about student accountability today. We're going to talk about my center rotation board today, how I set up my center folder, and my center checklists, my ICANN cards that I have for each center, and how to utilize a STAR student. Okay, so that is our agenda today. Today's going to be kind of a long training. It's going to be about an hour. So you want to get your coffee? I got my coffee ready to go. Get your coffee, get yourself a nice beverage, and get a comfy seat somewhere, okay? So, here is a question that I have for you guys. If you have not seen my webinars before, my trainings before, I always like to start off with some questions, okay? Because I like to get to know you guys, okay? I want to be able to connect with you. So, I want to know, you're going to give yourself a rating of a 1 or a 2 or a 3. And so a number 1 is not, how are your centers going this year? They are not good at all. Okay. You're going to give yourself a 1 if they're not good, that you need help. Okay. Which may be the reason why you're here. And that's perfectly fine. So we're all a big family and we're not judgmental. Okay. So just tell me how you feel. And then number 2, if they're okay, but they could be better, right? Or a 3, if they're great, no complaints. Okay. So give a 1, a 2, or a 3. I would love to know how you're feeling about your literacy centers. Okay. So I don't know if you guys know this yet, but in the Facebook group, in the file section, there is there's a lot of files that you can download anytime that you want to. Okay. Anytime. So you can download these right now. You can download them tonight, whenever you feel like it. Okay. There are 10 different resources for you to download. So the main two that I wanted to show you are this one right here where it says Farm Has Fun, Literacy Centers, icons, ICANN cards, and center templates. Okay. These two right here, the one on the very bottom and the one on the top, these two are what you need to get started. Okay. Hey, Susan, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, she says a 2. Okay. So you're there. Okay. That's good. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for responding. That's awesome. So these two have the ICANN cards that I'm going to share with you, what they look like. The icons, I have center icons that are big and small. Okay. I have 2 different sizes. And I have center templates that are black and white and in color. Okay. The center templates are how I keep my kids accountable. I'm going to share with you what that looks like. So you really, really want to download these two. They're two different color schemes. So this one up here, the farmhouse one, is teal with a light wooden background. Okay, that's my farmhouse theme from my classroom. Or if you like a rainbow theme, which is a black background with colored dots, kind of like my border here on the screen. So you can choose whichever color scheme is good for you. Another really great, two other great resources that you have in the file section are a Farmhouse Kitchen Center, which I'm going to be sharing with you what that is tomorrow. And then the Writing Center, I'll share with you what that is tomorrow. You can go ahead and download those and take a look at them if you want to. The Holiday Thematic Math Mats for math. I'm going to share with you a couple of days from now. And then the Bump games and the In and Out games are two different math games that you can teach one time, and you can just switch them out all year long, okay? And then the 10-frame match is for specifically kindergarten and first grade. I'm going to share with you what that looks like later also. So all of these are already in the file section for you, okay? Another great resource that I highly recommend is my Valentine Writing Center. Now, I know we just got done with Christmas, okay? However, my new subscription box is going to be starting in January. And so you guys are going to have a chance to subscribe to my new membership level 3, which has my subscription box. And this is one of the resources that you're going to get if you choose. Okay, you're going to choose between holiday writing or holiday math. Okay, this is one of them for Valentine's. The subscription box is going to be 5 different ones. You're going to get Valentine's, Easter, back to school, Halloween, and Christmas. Okay, so if you choose to do the Writing Center, you're going to get 5 boxes of Writing Center throughout the year. Or if you want to choose the Math Center, the Holiday Math Center is going to have math holiday games for Valentine's, Easter, back to school, Halloween, and Christmas. Okay, so those are 2 different options for you. So kind of be thinking about that, which ones that you would like to subscribe to. And then towards the middle of the week, I'm going to share with you what my membership level 3 looks like. Okay, if you're interested. So let's go ahead and get started with getting mentally ready for centers. Okay, so I like to have like a brain map to get started, and I like to kind of visually. I'm very visual, so I love to see. I like to have it all laid out. Okay, so you want to have behavior management. That is like the underlying goal. You want to have good behavior management set in place before you start your centers. You don't want to start centers before you have behavior management. Okay, that's backwards. You got to have behavior management before. You want to ask yourself these questions. How many kids do I want at each center? What centers do I want to have? What furniture do I need? How many centers do I want to manage? Okay, now I have 20 centers, but you do not have to have 20. Okay, if you only want to have 5, that's great. If you want to have 10, that's great. But I will tell you that the more choices that you give the kids, the more choice that they have for their self-motivation, their self-learning, the better they're going to stay accountable, the better they're going to stay engaged. Okay? Do I want the kids to sit on the floor, or do I want them to sit at a table or a desk? Okay? Whatever you want to do, whatever you think, whatever your classroom allows you to have. Okay? And how many minutes does my schedule allow for me to have my centers? Okay? So you want to kind of think about those things. So if you are already doing centers in your classroom, I want you to tell me in the comments how many minutes, about give or take, approximately how many minutes do you have for your center time? Okay? So in my classroom, I have about 30 minutes of center time. Okay? So you guys let me know what you think. Think about your class this year that you just left for the holiday, right? All right, so give me a number and tell me how many minutes you have for your literacy centers. And so we're going to start off with the basics here. I'm going to teach you things that you probably already know. I'm going to share with things that you probably already know, I've already done. But it's always good to get a refresher, right? Because when you go back in January, sometimes you're overwhelmed with, oh, I got to get this copy, and then I got to go to this in-service and this training, and I got to play with my team, and I got to send my newsletter out and everything. So sometimes the basics kind of get lost in all of that chaos. Okay. So here's what I would suggest the very first day that you come back from Christmas break is you want to build a social contract. Okay. A social contract is a list of rules and procedures that the kids are going to help you construct together. The kids are going to help you come up with these rules. Okay. Do not already have these pre-made before the kids come in. You want to have the kids help you, because if they help you make the rules, they're going to be more accountable and more responsible to follow the rules, because they helped create what they wanted, right? And so you're going to create a social contract. So I just get those big chart paper with the lines on it, the big chart paper, and I get some markers, colorful markers, and then we sit on the carpet. And one of the read alouds that I like to read is Our Class as a Family. And I specifically read that at the beginning of the year, but you can read it again if you want, to refresh the kids again. Because you might even have some new kids this year that have moved in. Okay? So the dynamic of your class might be totally different, right? So you're going to title it as Our Class Promise, or Our Social Contract, whatever you want to title it. And then you're going to have the kids tell you some rules. Okay. So some of the examples could be, don't talk when the teacher's talking. Be kind. Be respectful. Be kind to your teacher. Always raise your hand to answer a question. Don't cut in line. So always follow the golden rule. Never run in the hallway. Don't throw trash on the floor. Pick up your trash. Just things like that. So whatever they come up with, you're going to write down on your social contract. And then what I do is I give all the kids a colored piece of construction paper. They can have a color of their choice. And then they trace their hand on the construction paper. They trace it, and then they write their name on it, and then they decorate it. Okay. And the girls are so cute. They like to draw the nails and the rings and all that stuff. So then I laminate all of these things. I laminate the hands, and then I cut them out. I laminate the social contract, and then I put it somewhere in the room where the kids and I can refer to it often. Okay. They can refer to it often. So anytime that you're doing morning meeting, anytime that you're doing, you're reviewing the rules, anytime you have your social contract nearby so you can kind of refer to it, okay? So this is the basics. This is the basics that you're going to start with, okay? This is going to help you later on with your literacy centers. Now, what you can also do is you can make a T-chart when you're introducing your centers. You can make a T-chart, and then you can say, you can have the do's and don'ts of literacy centers. And then you can have the kids help you create some rules for the do's. What do we do at centers, and what do we don't do at centers? Okay. So that's another really good, like a social contract for centers that you can do also. Okay. So no matter what you choose for your behavior management, just be consistent. That's all I ask. Okay. Be consistent. And I know it's hard. We get so excited about the new year, and we get so excited about trying new things. But then sometimes, we kind of get caught up in other things, or things happen, and then you get kind of lazy about it, or not consistent. The kids are going to pick up on that. Okay. If you are not consistent with your behavior management, the kids are going to run all over you. I promise. It's going to be bad. Okay. So you want to be consistent, follow through with what you say. So if you say, kids, every time that we come to the carpet, if everybody comes to the carpet before I get to 1, if I count down from 10, we're going to add some marbles to the jar. And do it. Do it. You have to be consistent. If I forget one time to add marbles to our jar, Miss Rickman, aren't you going to add marbles? Oh, yes. Don't worry. I will. Or if you say, I promise I will give you a dollar, a bonus buck. If you walk in line for the secret walker and you're picked as the secret walker, you get $1. And the one time I forget, they will tell me. They'll call me out on it, right? So these are some pictures of things that I use in my classroom to help help manage my kids. Okay? So I have a doorbell. So when I do my math stations, I have a doorbell and I ring the doorbell for them to rotate to the next station. So if you love to do things like that and have the kids rotate, use a doorbell. That is awesome. They love the doorbell and they listen for it. And so I will say 1 minute warning, let's clean up. And then they will clean up. And then after I ring the doorbell, then they rotate. Okay. And then you could also use a voice level chart. I know some teachers love the lights, the colored lights right here. So you can put the light on no talking or a whisper voice or table voice or normal voice or outside voice. And so then you're putting the light on, you're clicking the light on to whatever voice level that you want the kids to be at. Okay. So that's a good visual for the kids. I also have desk pets. Okay. And so the desk pets are another incentive that I give for great behavior. Okay. Typically I will give one desk pet a day, one new desk pet a day. So I have a jar full of these little erasers, these little animal erasers. You can get them off of Amazon or at Walmart. And then I give the kids these little dome cupcake holders, and I call them, that's their habitat. Okay. So every day I will pick a new student who is following directions, who's listening, who's always got their thumb in a bubble, always says thank you when they're called on. That's another big thing, another pet peeve of mine. They have to say thank you when they're called on. And it just shows respect. And then so they can either decide to keep all their desk pets in the cupcake habitat, or they can take one home. Whenever a new one goes in, the old one comes out. Or they can just keep all of them throughout the whole year. So desk pets is another incentive. My kids love the desk pets. They really work hard for them. They really, really do. So let's say that there is a time of the day where the kids are not listening. Like after lunch, when the kids come in from lunch or recess, they're kind of crazy, right? Sometimes it takes a while for them to settle back down, right? So I always read a story after we get back from lunch and recess. It could be a chapter book, or it could be, whatever story you're reading for math or for social studies or science or whatever, to help them calm down. And then you could say, okay, I'm looking to see who's going to get a desk pet, who's listening, who's not blurting out. Okay. And then every day be consistent, right? That's the key. Today's word is consistency, right? Okay. And then I use these bonus bucks, and bonus bucks are golden. Okay. Golden. And they're like candy to these kids. I have used these for 26 years, and I am so adamant on having something tangible to give the kids. If they are listening, if they're following directions, they're getting paid money. It's just like adults. When we go to our job, we get paid, right? If we do a really good job in our job, if we do really, really well, sometimes we get a pay raise. Okay. So it's just like real life situations. And then giving them these bonus bucks, it'll help them count money. I mean, how great is that? Because they're going to need to learn to count money anyway. So I have dollar bills, I have $5 bills, I have $10 bills, 20s, 50s, and 100s. Okay. Now, when I start the year, at the beginning of the year, I only start with dollars. The dollars is the pink one. I just give out dollars. As the year goes on, I'm slowly upping the price. So then, like, I'll give out $5. Like right now, when we get back from January, I'm at $5. So then instead of giving dollars out, I'll start giving $5. So a $5 bill. So I'm upping the price, because if you stay at the same price all year, the kids get bored. They're like, oh, I don't want $1. I want 5, or I want 10. But the thing is, though, I can take them away. If you're not listening, if you're not following directions, I can take away your money. Oh, and they hate that. They absolutely hate it, because they're earning their money for the treasure box on Friday. Every Friday, I have treasure box day, and I'm very consistent about that. So when we get back in January, I may have them earn $20 for the whole week. If you have $20, then on Friday, you can go to treasure box. You can get an item out of the treasure box. Here's my pink treasure box over here with the jewels on it. And I got it from Amazon. They have these in all colors. They're so cute. And so I have lots of things like, I have desk pets in there, but they're different kinds of, not the same desk pets is in here, but different, like holiday ones. And then I have, different trinkets like whistles or those little funny sunglasses, puzzles, mazes. I mean, different toys that they can choose from. I even had candy in there, lollipops, blow pops. They love the blow pops. And so you want to be consistent, right? If you promise them you're going to do treasure box every Friday, then do it. Do it. Okay. So the bonus bucks are what they can earn throughout the whole week. So if they are not following directions, I can take away a bonus buck. Okay. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in their centers, I take away bonus bucks. Okay. It's simple as that. Okay. So you want to, establish an awesome classroom environment, classroom routine that they know that they are here. This is their job. And at your job, you can earn money just like adults do, because we earn money for our job. And if you don't do your job the right way, you can lose your money. If you do the job the right way, you can get more money. It's just as simple as that. Okay. Another thing that I like to use is Mr. Clicker Attention Getter. And this is a clicker. And so when they're at centers and I am at my teacher table, I click the clicker, I click it, and then they all stop and they all look at me. They freeze. Now, if I'm looking at you, you're the one that has to put your head down. Okay. I tell them 1 strike and you're out. I don't give them more chances. Nope. Okay. If you've ever read Debbie Diller's Literacy Center book, she says that 1 strike and you're out. Do not give the kids more chances, because if you do that, then they're going to work the system, right? They're going to be manipulative. They're going to start being silly because they know that you're not being consistent. They know, Miss Rickman, she's not going to do anything to me. I can still be silly, and then she's not going to do anything. Well, I tell them, I love you and I care about you, and that's why I'm tough on you. You don't follow the rules, you're out. Okay? I'm so sorry. So I have them put their head down on their desk. They cannot go to centers at all that day, at all. They have to put their head down. They take their center template they were working on. They take it to their desk. They can do their center template, but it has to be at their desk, and they cannot play at the center anymore. Okay? So the clicker saves my voice, and it helps everybody in the classroom stop and freeze and look at me. So I train my kids to stop and freeze, and they look at me. So we practice that a lot. So this is just a pet clicker. It's a dog clicker, actually. And I keep it on my keychain, and which is attached to my pants. Or you could, if you have a lanyard, you could put it on your lanyard. Okay. The class marble jar is another incentive that you can do for the whole class. Like I said, be consistent when you add marbles. When you fill the marble jar, you can have a class incentive. We have pajama day. We have stinky feet day. We have gum day. We have lunch in the classroom. We have a movie day. So the kids get to vote on what they want when they fill their marble jars, which is really fun. So you can have a class incentive. Whatever you have if you say, if we don't have anybody get a point today for our farm contest, we're going to add marbles. Be consistent. Make sure you do it. Follow through. Okay. If we have everybody come to the carpet before I get to 1, if I count down from 10, we get to 1, everybody is on the carpet ready to go. I'm going to add some marbles. Okay. If we don't have any blurting during my story, everyone's listening, I'm going to add marbles, but just make sure you do it, right? Okay. I also have sand timers. I use these sand timers in my centers also. And I also use them for my morning meetings whenever the kids are sitting in a circle and we're sharing different things. Then they use a sand timer. I have a 1-minute timer and they pass it around. When the timer's out, you got to move it on. Okay. You're going to pass on the timer. So in the centers, sometimes if you have like fact fluency practice, you can have a sand timer where they time themselves. Or if you have sight word practice in your word work center, you can have a sand timer and have them time themselves. Okay. Another thing that I swear by is having a star student. And these are the hats right here. I got these off of Amazon, and then I just hot glued the foam letters on the hats that says ask me, because when I'm doing my reading group, then my kids are finishing up their seat work. They're finishing up their schema notebook, which is my reading comprehension. And then after that, they can go to centers. So they're at different centers around the room. The star student is able to answer questions for me, so I am not interrupted at my teacher table. It is fabulous, fabulous, okay? So you have to train your kids to ask the star student and not you, okay? So that's a really big thing. I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. So here's my testimonial for bonus bucks. I have used bonus bucks for 26 years. My students love them. They treat them like candy. Bonus bucks can be earned and taken away just like real money. This reward system helps the students prepare for real life situations, such as having to pay for a ticket if you're speeding, giving money to charity, earning money for their hard work and dedication. My students know that if they work hard and follow directions, they will always get their bonus bucks. But if they're not following directions and they're being silly, they can be taken away. Every Friday, the students get an opportunity to go to the treasure box. This is the true test if they've earned enough money throughout the week, or do they still need to try harder the next week. Everything I do in my classroom is linked to the bonus bucks somehow. And again, you have to be, what's the word? Consistent. It allows my classroom to be self-managed, hardworking, with a safe and quiet atmosphere so my students can learn and be successful. I hope that you can find something that you can try that is new today for my behavior management. So these bonus bucks, you can, these are in my TPT store. If you're interested in checking those out, I'll put a link in the comments after we're done, so you can check out the link to my behavior management bonus bucks. These are what you can copy on construction paper or cardstock, and then you can laminate them and have somebody cut them out for you. I usually have a parent that comes every Friday to help me make copies, and then you can have a parent do that for you. And again, I would suggest starting off with $1 and then growing from there. Okay, you don't want to start with a $10 bill or $5 bill, because you want to start small, so then you have room to grow later on so the kids don't get bored. Okay, if you start with 10s and 20s, they're going to get bored by the time January comes around, and then it's not going to mean anything to them anymore, right? So you want to start small. All right, so the next thing I want to share with you is my farm contest. Since I have a farmhouse theme in my classroom, I have a farm contest. Now, if you have a theme in your classroom, you can do this with any theme. If you have a rainbow theme, you can have colored table groups. If you have a farm theme, you can have animal table groups. If you have a planet space theme, you can have different planet groups. If you have an ocean theme, you can have different ocean animal groups. So it's whatever you want to do. So my classroom is divided into 5 table groups. At each table group, there's 4 kids. Okay? So in my classroom, I have my farmhouse firsties, that's what I call them, my calico cats, my red roosters, my pink pigs, my gray goats, my palomino ponies. Okay? And so I have these signs that are hanging above their tables. And so every single day, they are competing against each other to see who has the quietest table. Okay? Whoever does not have any points on their animal at the end of the day gets bonus bucks. Okay? So at the beginning of the year, I gave out dollars every day. If they did not have a point, each kid at the table got $1. But if they got a point on their animal, the star student will walk over there and get a point. If I say, uh-oh, red roosters have a point because they're talking during center time or during workshop time, then the star student will walk over there and put a point on the animal. And at the end of the day, I look to see who has points. If they have a point, they have to owe me bonus bucks. But if they don't, then they get bonus bucks. Okay? So you see the correlation here. So they are working together as a table, as a team. You're teaching teamwork. So I teach my kids to do this to each other. Okay? We're not going to go shh, shh, shh. We're just going to put our finger on our mouth, and we're going to do the silent symbol. This is the silent symbol. And if they're talking, they're going to do this to each other. Okay? To stay quiet. So they're helping each other. Now, if they're not helping each other, then they're going to get a point, right? So you can have any table groups that you want, but this really helps a lot whenever they're at center time and the table is talking or they're being silly at centers. So they have to put a point on their animal. And then every day we start fresh. Every day is a new day. So I have the star student erase the points for the day. Some teachers do it the opposite way, where if they earn points, they're doing a good job. But I do the opposite, where if they don't have any points, they are doing a good job. So whatever works for you, whatever system, just be consistent. That's the word of the day, right? Okay. So here's my treasure box. Like I said, inside the treasure box, I have erasers, pencils, bubbles, stickers, sunglasses, books, small stuffed animals, fancy pens, fancy pencils, holiday toys, trinkets, games, jump ropes. And candy. Blow pops. They love those blow pops. And then my star student has a VIP table. So this is where they sit during my ELAR time. So when I'm pulling my reading groups at my table, and the star student will sit here. It's a little picnic table that's in the middle of the classroom. I change out the tablecloth for every holiday, and they get a little trophy. And I got these trophies off of Amazon. And then I give them a placemat. And on the placemat, it just says star student. And so they have to have the placemat sitting there, laying there on the table, so they don't write on my tablecloth. So they're sitting there and they're working. And then when somebody has a question, then they're looking around the room. So anyone has a question, they're going to go answer that question. They're going to wear that hat. So it looks like this. So anytime a kid has a question, anytime a kid has finished their schema notebook, they're going to raise their hand. The star student will come over and check their schema notebook. And then the star student has to check their blue folder. Now, my blue folder is my work folder, my unfinished work folder. Okay, so anything they have to finish is in their blue folder. The star student will pull out the folder, they'll open it up, and they'll say, oh, you got to finish this. They have to finish their work before they go to centers. Have to, okay, in my class. If they have any unfinished work, nope, no can do. You've got to sit and finish your center work, your unfinished work before you go to centers. That is very important. And then the star student will check it when they're done. They'll say, okay, you can go to centers now. And it's fabulous. It's fabulous to see these first graders. Even first graders can do this. But you have to train them. You have to model what it looks like and what it sounds like. Let's see. Hey, Shantuan, so glad you're here. She says, how do you determine the star student? Great question. So the very first star student I ever have, like back in August or September, the very first one will be somebody who is on their A game. Like, it can be either a girl or a boy, and I will be honest with you, usually it's a girl that will start. The girls talk softer, okay? They're not as silly. They're more responsible. They take their job very seriously. Now, the boys do too, but some of the boys, you just want them to look at what the girls are doing so they can model the good behavior. So they're going to quietly walk around and answer questions. So I just pick random kids every week. I'll pick a girl one week and then a boy the next week and then a girl and then a boy. So I'm going to alternate girl, boy, girl, boy. They have to be responsible. They have to be following the rules. They have to be listening, okay, following directions to get picked as a star student, okay? And the star student is there for the whole week, okay? The whole week. So they get, I have a bag that they can take home. I have Clifford the big red dog, a stuffed Clifford in the bag, the star student bag. And then I have a bulletin board that's about a little one. It's not very big. That goes in the bag. And then inside the bag, there's a folder. And in the folder, are these templates that say Star Student of the Week. And then they can fill these out at home. So it says, this is me. They draw a picture of me. Or they can actually glue a real picture on there if they want. This is my family. My favorite subject is, my favorite book is, and my favorite food is. So they decorate their board, their bulletin board. They can cover it with wrapping paper, scrapbook paper, whatever paper they want, and then they're going to decorate their board with pictures. Now, if they want to take pictures of them in Clifford during the weekend, that's great. Or they can just put pictures of them and their family going on vacations or trips or whatever, or at their house or swimming or at grandma's, whatever. They decorate their board, whatever they want to show the class. This is their show and tell. On Friday afternoon, after recess, after lunch and recess, we get back in the room. Instead of me reading a book that day, on Fridays, we have show and tell day. The star student gets to sit in the chair. They get to show their board to the class with all their pictures. And then they get to glue or tape or staple this page onto their board somehow. Then they're going to read that to us. And then they show the class. They love it. That is like the most funnest thing that they look forward to. They look forward to it on Fridays. And they keep asking me all week long, is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? I get to show my board. They love it. They love it. So this is actually my daughter, Kennedy, when I had Kennedy in my first grade class. And she was the star student. And so that was the best years of my life. Best year of my life, having my daughters in my first grade class. That was awesome. So she got to show her board. And sometimes the kids, they get to be star student 2 times because throughout the whole year, you know, because you have that many weeks, depending on how many kids you have in your class. I have 18 kids this year, which is a great number. And it's really nice. So they will probably, everyone will get to be a star student 2 times. So the star student is a very serious job. They have to be very responsible and the pick of the litter, right? But everybody gets to do it. So if you have a behavior kid that is really having trouble following directions, you know, being silly, you might want to save them to be the star student at the end of the roster so they have time to prove themselves. They have time to step up, you know. If you give them star student right away, that's going to set the tone for your whole class. You don't want that, okay? You want the kids that are star student to set the tone, to model what it looks like and sounds like. All right, so keep those questions coming if you'll have questions. These are my center icons. Like I said, I have big ones and I have small ones. The small ones are right here at the top. These are the icons that I laminate and put on my center chart. I have a center chart, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. These large ones I laminate and cut out, and I put them on the actual center in the room so the pictures match. Pictures have to match together. So if they want to look at the library center, they want to know where library is. They're going to look at the picture. Here is the picture, the small one, and here's the big one. Okay, and at the beginning of the year, I teach them what all these are, and then tomorrow, when I share with you each individual center, I'll share how I introduce each center. Okay, so these are the center icons. So like I said, you have 2 different ones to choose from in the file section. You have a farmhouse theme and you have a rainbow theme. The rainbow theme has the black background with the polka dots. Okay, this was when I had my rainbow theme. So I just got those little cards, those little colored cards from Amazon or Lakeshore, and then I just glued the pictures on top of those little cards and then laminated them. Okay, so this is my center chart. So what I do is I have the numbers on the left side. I give my kids magic numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is at the top. Now they won't stay like that because then I'm going to rotate the numbers. Okay, so for the whole week, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 can choose between these 4 centers on the top row. They can choose between word work or author study or poetry or geography. They have choices. I love giving my kids choices. I feel like they're more motivated to want to do a good job. They're more engaged if they choose what they want to do. If you say, you have to go to this center, that's not going to work, okay? So you give them a choice. So only these 4 kids have these 4 centers. So realistically, 4 kids, that means 1 per center. I always have 1 kid per center, okay? If they want to go to the poetry center and there's already somebody there, they have to choose a different one, okay? And maybe the next day, if they finish their work in time, then they can go to the poetry center first, okay? So they have to take turns. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 will choose between this row. And then 9, 10, 11, 12 would choose between this row. So the whole week they have 4 centers that they can choose from. Or you could have 5 centers if you want for them to choose from. And then every Monday morning I rotate the cards. Okay, this is the one that I have right now. This is my farmhouse theme that has the teal. They're the same pictures. They're just on different colors. So my color schemes match. So I like to have everything matched together. So again, here's the cards with the numbers on the side. And then here are their 4 choices. Okay. This rotation chart has 5 choices. When I think I had 22 centers at one time. And then I got rid of 2 of them because I didn't have that many kids anymore. So it depends on how many kids you have. And so these kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, can choose between this row. And then 9, 10, 11, 12 choose between this row for the whole week, okay? And then I rotate all of those center cards every Monday. And it's funny because if I forget to rotate the cards, the kids will tell me, Miss Rickman, we were at these centers last week. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll make sure I change the cards. So they'll tell me if you forget. So that's just how I do my rotation. I've seen a lot of different rotation boards. You can put pictures of the kids on the rotation board. So whatever you want to do, or you can have a center wheel. They spin the wheel and they choose a center from the wheel. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but this way I have found is more manageable for me. So let me know in the comments like what you guys like to do for your center rotation. I would love to know. How do your kids know what centers they go to? I would love to know. Tell me in the comments. So for each center, I have I can cards and I have center templates. So if you want more rigor and relevance in your classroom, which I know we all need because I know that's the new standard, all the administration is looking for more rigor and relevance, okay? The more the kids are reading, the more the kids are writing at the center, then that is going to be higher rigor and relevance for your kids, okay? If they're playing and if they're doing like purposeful play, which is great, they still need to play. But you can always add another layer of rigor and relevance onto that purposeful play. Have them write about it. That's going to solve your problem right there, okay? So these are my I can cards, and I'm going to share all of the I can cards for every center starting tomorrow, okay? Because I'm going to be showing you what they say. So like, for example, my kitchen center, and by the way, I have the 2 color schemes. I have the farmhouse theme and I have the rainbow theme, okay? I can follow my favorite recipe. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. I only have 4 cards, and I put them on a ring, so they look like this at the bottom here. And then I clip the ring onto the center somewhere, so they can just flip the cards. Usually, I will clip these I can cards onto the clipboard, like you see up here in the top picture. So there's a clipboard at each center, and then they have these center templates. Now, you can do this 2 different ways. In the resource, there's black and white templates and there's colored templates. If you do not want to copy all these, like if you don't want to use paper, that's fine. You can put them in clear plastic sleeves. The colored ones are for the clear plastic sleeves, okay? You can have them right on the center template with a not Sharpie, with an Expo marker. And then if you use Seesaw, in your class, you can have the kids take a picture of their center template that they wrote, upload it to Seesaw, or upload it to Google Classroom, whatever you're using, whatever platform, okay? So you can have them do that, or just have them take a picture. If they have their own iPads or Chromebooks or whatever, just have them take a picture of what they did, so you have, evidence. They have to have evidence. I like to have the paper copies because I have a center folder. And so they put their template in their center folder every single time. And if they don't finish it that day, they can finish it the next day. It does not have to be done that day. They can start on it, and then the following day, they can go back to that same center and they can finish what they were doing, okay? I tell them they have to finish the center page before they go to a new center. So remember, on the center chart, they have 4 centers to choose from. They have to finish the center template before they move on. That means it has to be colored, shaded, and outlined. I'm very picky. I'm very picky about my center templates, okay? There's no rush jobs. There's no rush jobs. There's no scribble scrabble. No, 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 no. So the thing is that they will earn bonus bucks for these center pages. Okay, you see how my bonus bucks are always the underlying source of responsibility, okay? They earn bonus bucks and they turn these center templates in at the end of the month. And however many they have completed, that's how many bonus bucks they get. So if they have 20 pages completed, they have to be shaded, outlined, colored. Okay, if they have 20 pages, they get $20. They get a $20 bill. I mean, they're so excited. They're so excited. They love it. I had a little boy in this past month before we left for Christmas break. He had done 25 center pages. And yes, they were all colored. They were all shaded. They were all outlined. And he was just doing as many center pages as he could because he wanted to earn those bonus bucks. So it's whatever how motivated they are to want to write about their center, okay? And then that's why I give them choices so that they're more motivated, okay? So like I said, the I can cards are how I introduce the center. Then I put them on a ring, I laminate them, cut them out, so they're just cards they flip, okay? So every day this week when I share with you each center, I will read to you the I can cards. I'll share with you the center templates. So these are the black and white center templates. There's a farmhouse theme and there's a rainbow theme. This is the rainbow one that has the regular border. So they have to illustrate. They're always illustrating something that they did. They're illustrating an activity that they did. Okay. If they're at Technology Center and they played Starfall, they're illustrating the game that they played on Starfall. Okay. If they are at the Poetry Center, they are writing about the poem that they read. They're writing it down. They're drawing a picture of it. If they're at the Art Center, they're creating a picture. They're drawing a picture. They can glue on googly eyes. They can glue on toothpicks. They can glue on beads. They're creating something at the Art Center and they're writing about it. So everything has a picture and then they have questions or they're writing about it. If they're at the Calendar Center, they're answering questions about the calendar or they're writing in the numbers for the calendar. So it all goes back to the rigor and relevance with having them reading and having them writing and reflecting about what they did. Okay. These are the colored ones. This is the rainbow theme. So you can copy these and then you put them inside those clear plastic sleeves, have them draw or write on these with an expo marker. You can have a little cup or a little can of expo markers at each center that they can use to write on these. And then you have to tell them though, they have to erase it after they're done, after they take a picture of it with their iPad. They have to erase it for the next person. Do not leave your writing on the template because that's not nice. If you go to a center and you're starting on a center and you don't have anything erased, I mean, that's wasted time that you have to erase somebody else's work that they forgot, you know? So be respectful to the next person that comes to the center. So erase your template so that everybody else can start on a clean slate. So these are really fun. They're really fun and it keeps the kids accountable. And like I said, every day this week when I show you all my centers, I'll show you what the templates look like for each center. So you're probably asking, what does the finished product look like? This is what it looks like. So I'm very picky about how they color. I'm very picky how they shade and outline. So when I say shade, I mean, I teach them at the beginning of the year how to, now you're probably going to laugh at this, but some teachers don't like to do this, but I think it's fine. Take your crayon, break it in half, take off all the paper, okay? And then they're gonna lay the crayon on its side, and then they're gonna shade on the side of the crayon, and it makes it look so nice and so professional. Okay, so you can see how this little girl shaded her backgrounds, and then they're gonna take their markers. They're gonna outline with a marker, outline the picture, and then they color in with crayon. They can also outline their words, whatever words that they wrote down on their page, on their template, they can outline their words. So every time that they color, shade, and outline, they get $1. Now, if you don't think $1 is enough money, then give them $2 per page or $5 per page. But I only give $1, so they can stay motivated, because I remind them every day when they're at centers, make sure you're doing a center page. Okay, I remind them every single day. I have a center folder. You can have a student data folder, student data binder, and so this is also in my TPT store, and I'm gonna provide a link in the comments later on when we're done. So I have 2 links I want to share with you today. I want to share with you my behavior management using bonus bucks, which is called Show Me the Money, and then I'm going to share my student data trackers. Okay, the student data trackers have my center checklists. Okay, and so you can have these checklists in their center folder. Okay, now these are the covers. These are the covers that you can copy on colored on color, and then you can put them inside of a binder, the clear plastic sleeve of a binder, or you can put them, staple them on front of a folder, whatever you want to do. But these are my student data trackers. So the center checklist, these are all of my centers that I have. And then every time they go to a center, they color them in. They color them in. They're writing their name at the top, and they're writing the month. So if it's December, they're going to write the month of December. And then they're going to color all the centers that they did for that month. And I have different ones you can choose from. I have different templates. So this one, I believe, has 20. This one has 9. Okay. So there's different ones. And then this is what it looks like in the folder. So they color in the whatever centers they want to. They don't have to do all of them, but they're going to color in as many as they can, right? So the checklists go into the brads, and the templates in the pockets of the folder. I put 9 checklists in the brads, and the students just tear one out of their folder every single month, and I staple all of the pages together with the checklist on the top. So I will call them over to my teacher table, and I'll say, bring me your center folder. We're going to staple all your center templates. Now, if they have a template in their folder that's not finished, then I'll keep it in there for the next month. Okay, but all the ones that are colored and outlined and shaded, I will staple together in a packet. And then over the weekend, I will count all the pages. And then on Monday morning, they'll have their money on their desk for their center templates. Okay, if you don't want to give them bonus bucks, there's another thing you can do. You can give them a desk pet. Okay, that's another incentive for desk pets. They can earn a desk pet, or they can earn 2 desk pets, whatever you want them to do. Have some kind of an incentive to help them be motivated, okay? And again, like I said, giving them choices of their centers is also amazing because they're more motivated. So desk pets could also be used for your centers, okay? All right, so that is it for today in a nutshell. So if you have a question about anything that I talked to you today about or shared with you, I want you to post a question in our Facebook group, okay? I will put your name in a raffle, and then on Friday, at the end of Friday's training, I'm going to draw a name to win a $30 Amazon gift card, okay? If you can choose between $30 Amazon or $30 TPT, okay? So it is up to you. And then whatever question that you have, you can either post it here in the comments or you can post it in the Facebook group. I love when you guys post questions in the Facebook group. Just go up to the Facebook group and post a new question, so more teachers will see it. Because chances are, if you have a question, chances are another teacher has the same question, right? So then I will compile all of these questions that you guys have, either about my behavior management, STAR student, accountability, centers, whatever you want to ask. And then on Friday, I will just have a whole hour of Q&As, okay, for you guys. And then I'll answer your questions. I would love it if you submit a question. That would be amazing, okay? And then, let's see, Shantuan says, I love the idea of choice centers, but I'm not sure how this would look in my kinder class. What would you do differently in a kinder class? Well, that's a great question. And I would not have as many centers in my kinder class right away, especially like in the fall. I would maybe have 5 centers and then work up. You can always add more centers as the year goes on. So like when the kids know your procedures, they know your routines, they know your behavior management, and you're being consistent, then you can start small, but then you can add more centers. And then you can say, hey, boys and girls, the more that we can follow the rules, the more that we can listen and follow directions, and you're doing great at your centers, the more that we can unlock more centers. Okay, then that gives you more choices. So in kindergarten, I would start small and then grow. And then in first grade, I start with all 20 of them, but every single day I introduce a new center. So it takes me 25 days, well, not 25, maybe 22 days to introduce all of my centers, because I have 20 centers, but I use 2 days to go over the center chart, the center rotations. They have to know what the icons mean. They have to know what the center templates mean. So I spent about 2 days going over just those 2 things, those rules. So it takes about 22 days for me. But in kindergarten, I would start small and then do the easy centers. Like, the listening center would be easy, something easy to teach them. You can do read to self, something that's easy to start with, I think. And then grow from there. And it also depends on your class. I mean, if you've got a really great class, then yeah, I would add more centers and add more choices as the year goes on. But if you have a class that's really behavior heavy, and you've got lots of like behavior kids, you might want to just say, well, we're just going to start with these centers for right now and see how it goes. Or you can just limit those behavior kids, limit them to just maybe 1 center. And the rest of the class can have choices. And if the behavior kids do a good job, then they can be like the rest of the class. But I would not give my behavior kids that many choices right away. They get too overwhelmed, and they get so silly. And remember I said 1 strike and you're out, right? And be consistent with that, because that's really going to set the stage for the whole year. And I know you feel bad. I feel bad too, having them go sit and put their head down, because I want them to have fun. But if you allow them to do that over and over and over again, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Really, you are. So you got to be consistent. You got to be tough, like use tough love, right? And then, they can still work on their center template. It's just at their desk. They can't sit at the center. And then somebody else can go to their center who is not being silly, right? So great questions. I love it. Let's see. Susan says, with 4 choices a week, do you do something differently on the 5th day? That's a great question, Susan. So on the 5th day, they can choose any center in their row that they've already been to. They can go back and do the same center again, because sometimes, well, all the time at my centers, I have so many activities. There's no way that they can do all the activities in 1 day. There's no way. Sometimes they'll spend 2 days on the same center. Sometimes they'll spend 3 days on the same center, because I have so many activities, which I'm so excited to share with you all my activities. It'll take them 2 to 3 days to do the whole center. Okay. And again, at the center, I have lots of choices. I don't just have 1 thing. I might have 10 things. I know that sounds overwhelming, but the more choices that they have, it all depends on how you introduce the center. That's to be honest with you, how you introduce the center, how you teach your kids how to take care of your center, how to take care of your materials, how to clean up. That's so important. Oh my gosh, so important. You can have as many activities as you want, but if they do not take care of it, if they destroy your center materials, they destroy the papers, they destroy the pencils, they destroy the folders or whatever you have in your center, then you got to do a whole reteach. So this might be what you need right here with a reboot. You might need to reteach your class again. And I'm going to go over the rules again with my kids when we get back in January. They're going to be gone for 3 weeks. That's a lot of time to be gone. And some of them might forget, So it's good to go back over the rules again. Okay. And you know what? If they're destroying something, They're not taking care of your center. Have them sit out for a whole week. Okay? They cannot go to centers. They've lost their privilege. I've also had, if they cannot go to a center, I've also had them sit right next to me at my teacher table on the floor and then just read a book. That's all they can do is read. You know, they cannot do anything else but sit in the library and read right next to my teacher table until they can prove to me that they're being respectful and responsible. So again, being consistent, using tough love. So tomorrow's agenda is going to be how to manage these centers. So I'm going to teach you my library center tomorrow. What materials I use, when to change them out, if I change them out at all, because some centers I do not change at all, okay? I'm going to teach you my poetry center, my big book center, my geography center, my art center, and my writing center. So this is a picture of my geography center here at the bottom. So I have a lot of activities that I can't wait to share with you about how I set it up. And I also have videos of me setting up my centers, which I'm going to post some videos in the Facebook group for you guys this week. So keep looking in the Facebook group, because you never know. I might post a video. I might post a picture. I might post a podcast episode you can listen to, or a blog post you can listen to. I might post lots of different things for you. And then don't forget to download the resources that are in the file section. Okay? So I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. You just earned 1 hour of PD credit for today. Okay? You can go back and watch this anytime that you want to. These videos are going to stay in this Facebook group for a couple of weeks, so you can go back and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch as many times as you want to. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's training is going to be at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. So I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. I love you. Bye-bye.